Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and I teamed up with Ruben from TrueCraft to bring you this amazing tour of Holy Smoke BBQ in Sweden. It's a bucket list place. After you see this, you're going to be blown away. This is a place that I wanted to go to for the decade that it's been open. It's been open since 2014. The guys who run it, Johan and Johan, I won't try to pronounce their last names because I don't want to make a mistake, but the two Johans have put together such a special place. Right now it's grown to 43 shipping containers. You'll get a chance to see that. And on a normal day, they have around 800 people, and it's a diverse group of people. And on a busy day, 1,200 to 1,500 people. That's like having a barbecue festival every single day. And they said it's like, 70, 80% of the people have never tried this type of food before. So it is awe-inspiring, and it's like that first bite of barbecue that you had that aha moment. These people are having this in Sweden. The location itself is roughly 2 hours from Copenhagen. So if you're going to visit Copenhagen, which is a huge bucket list place for me, you can hit up Holy Smoke or vice versa. But they also do, because it's close to Copenhagen, they have a lot of crossover, palette-wise, food-wise, recipe-wise. So they do a lot of collabs, and they've had a lot of pitmasters from the United States out to do events and do classes. People like Carrie Bringle, people like Leonard Botello from Truth, Charlie McKenna from Lily's Q, Ernest Cervantes from Burnt Bean Company, Wayne Miller from Louis Miller Barbecue in Taylor, Texas. It's just an amazing location, and what they've done is it's Texas-style barbecue with a Swedish twist. That's how I perceive it, and the food selection and the food choices just look superb. They have such an amazing array of pits, and they do live fire stuff. It's a spectacular place, and I'm so happy to have a chance to collab with Ruben on this and to be able to showcase such an amazing location. But this is definitely one of those videos that you'll want to watch from beginning to end, and probably you'll want to watch it several times because it is a place that is quite magical and quite different than anything United States. They're bringing something really special to the people of Sweden. And a really cool thing is the two Johans are ambassadors for Mill Scale Metalworks, based out of Lockhart, Texas. So they are the authorized sellers for the Mill Scale Backyard Barbecue Pit. So sit back, relax, enjoy this amazing video. I can't thank Johan enough for taking the time to do this tour. It means the world to us. And it's also really important to showcase people that are doing something outside the box and to show people that are incredibly passionate about what they do, that they're bringing something really special. I cannot wait to visit myself. I am extremely jealous of Ruben that he got a chance to visit, but I'm also very excited that we got to work together and I get to share this with everyone.
So this is it. This is the magnificent entrance of Holy Smoke BBQ. We're Tuesday, first week of summer season, so it doesn't pick up yet. It'll be pretty spacious in here. Normally in peak season the line ends about here, and if it was that we would skip it anyway. But that's where you normally end up if you come here in July. So as stated, located in the middle of nowhere, basically rural southern Sweden. So, but let's come on in. Let's go and have a look in the smokehouse. So this is our smokehouse where most of the magic happens. We use, first of all, JNR oiler rotisserie for selling cuts, and then we have these 2,000 gallons that we use for brisket and pork ribs, and then 2 additional 500 gallons on a trailer on the outside that we use for peak season. So briskets, pork rib for these two, same goes out there. The rotisserie is used for primarily beef ribs, pork shoulder, chuck, chicken, beans, some bulky stuff that's what we smoke in there. So here's a cold smoker that it's more of like in an experimental state right now. There's nothing that makes sense that goes on there yet, but possibly in the future. There'll be a lot of goodies coming out of that. So, but let's carry on into the restaurant. Near the dual 500-gallon trailer that we use for during peak season and on festival and events when we smoke on site, which is not always the case, but We try to bring it. Well, if you don't use it here, we try to bring it because it's a nice bling to add to any festival occasion. And it's always cool to have a biggest break, isn't it? There's a store where you'll find like everything you need for a perfect life. And here's the actual place where it all goes down. Built like a courtyard built around like 5 containers to get this kind of cozy feeling on pre-season when this restaurant is not completely full. We try to like get there a bit like inside here. You order from the bar over there. That's where you'll place all your orders for meats and drinks. Then you go sit at your table, and then we actually carry it to your table. Outdoor kitchen for like some dishes that are like not coming straight off the smoke. It first has to go into I don't know, on the grill in a deep fryer or something. It goes past the outdoor kitchen. One of the most important like items on the restaurant, the marshmallow roasting pits. That will give any mom and dad peace in mind. Kids can stay there for 4 hours and never fall asleep with all the sugar they leave the restaurant with. So that's basically it. That's how it looks. And as we talked about before, we talked about education and academy and masterclasses. We're going to head over to that area. Extra bar that will open next week when like season really picks up. So this is our call it like educational playground where either we or the guys that we talked about before, the pit masters from the US, come to teach. So this can have various like shapes and forms. Sometimes it's more like a pure like lecture, like someone talks for like 6 hours. Sometimes it's now there was a very hands-on class here, I think yesterday. So then there's like more benches and less seats. This is for a smaller group. I think there were like 20 people in 5 kitchens. So it depends on how the class is set up.
How many people can attend?
50. Yeah, 50. But then it cannot be totally hands-on. Then it's more like, I mean, depending on what we cook. If we have 50 students, we don't cook 50 briskets. We don't cook 50 hogs. Depending on what class it is, it can be very like based on talking. Which really, we were a bit afraid of that initially, like when we got into those, like when the first like whole hog guy was gonna come here, how are we gonna do this? Because clearly there's only one guy or 2 guys doing it. The rest are just like looking and listening and smelling and feeling and touching. But that actually, here at this location, it actually worked out just as good. So it's either or. Sometimes it's like almost no interaction. Sometimes there's sometimes it's all about interaction. Everybody does everything. So that depends. Also, it's up to the chef or to the pit master that comes here to decide how they want to run their class. It's their day, so they totally decide what they want to do. Very like medieval piece of like fire table. You can cook all kinds of shit on this one in different ways. But maybe the coolest piece of equipment that we have, actually. Badass, cooks a lot of food. And has a lot of different kind of like levels and grates and planchas and yeah, whatever. Comes in very handy when you're cooking for many people. Hog cooker that could use a bit of love from BQ. Nothing that we use every day, but it's absolutely fantastic. And here's our I don't know, studio sounds a bit too much, but that's actually what it is. We built this room to be able to like have a consistent environment, to be able to shoot recipe videos. So that's the reason why we built this, to have a place that we can control light and environment and just like do badass stuff. This is our menu, which kind of looks like, I think you would find this like in a few other like spots, something similar to this. We have like all the staples like the brisket, the short rib, the pork rib, the spicy bacon, which is like our like take on bacon, sausage, pulled pork, chicken, and wings. It's kind of I'm not gonna say it's complicated, but since you're not used to this, most people that come up wouldn't know what these cuts are. So you'd have to explain that for them, and to also add the element of weight. How much do you want? The line, when you get there in peak season, you stand in line for about 1 hour. That's the average wait time to order. So the line starts here and it goes out to the road. It takes about an hour. Then once you order your food, you're gonna get it in like 10 minutes. That's most of the time goes really, really quick. But to add the element of weight, to tell people that you're actually gonna eat like a pound of meat, which is the average serving here is about a pound. That's what people eat in average. It sounds a lot, especially in Sweden, where you should eat like maybe a quarter of a pound of meat a day. You would never be able to sell that. That's why we basically we sell them as servings. So you buy beef short rib, and then you get a short rib, and that will vary in size. If you were to complain, then we'll just handle that. So that's where all the proteins are like size based. So that's the thing. That's what most people buy. This barbecue plate. There's some bread. There's some different pickles. There's slaw. There's sauce and those normal stuff. And then you add your meat, and then we have the normal sides like the pit beans, potato salad, cream chili corn. This is the equivalent of collard greens, roasted Mexican corn salad, and mac and brock, which is basically mac and cheese with broccoli in it. And then there's a bunch of specials. There's a bunch of sandwiches.
What would you recommend for someone who's here the first time?
I mean, I think that you should totally eat like if you never had like barbecue, then you should eat like the beef rib, which is I'd favor that over the beef short rib. I'd favor that over the brisket. And then you always have to eat the spicy bacon. It's dry brined, and then it's smoked, cool it down, cut it about an inch thick, goes really hard on the grill. And then there's a maple and sriracha sauce poured over it. And then we also have like one of our dry rubs, which is made out of apple and maple that goes on top of that. It's the bomb. It's the equivalent of like Wayne's beef rib. It's our I think that might actually be our signature dish. Most people are they leave here with a big smile on their face. They do. And it's also, I would say it's a package deal. You travel here because it is a destination restaurant. Nobody just there is zero drop-ins. You just wouldn't walk past this restaurant unless you live down the street. So this is something that you have planned for. Many people have spent a good amount of time in the car. And then you come here, you stand in line, and there is a bit of pressure built up on the actual delivery, which you can get really it can make me kind of uncomfortable. If you stand there in the middle of the summer and you see those people and you hear on the dialect that they're from fucking Kiruna. They've been driving for 12 hours to come down here. And they're gonna stand in line for 1 hour, and then we're gonna deliver this we have one tray of meat. That's what they're gonna eat, and then they're gonna drive back for 12 hours. That can put on a bit of stress on me. Every bite counts, really. But we try it, and we have great staff. We've done this for a long time now. It's very we have really good order to be able to do these numbers out of a container or out of a few containers. There has to be a bit of order. But when this hobby outgrew the backyard, we needed to go. It was just me at the time. Needed to go somewhere to put this this next smoker that was too big for the backyard. And then we were scouting different locations, but couldn't really make it work. And then all of a sudden, Mats, one of my oldest friends, says, "Well, I'll just Mom and Dad has some space that you might use in the backside of the garden." All right, okay. And I'm very familiar with Mats's parents, Carl Axel and Gerd, who's not with us anymore. But so he just basically goes here, and I don't think he doesn't really ask them. He just informs them that Johan is going to smoke some meats here in the backyard. Oh yeah, cool. They're just up for anything. Carl Axel is 92 now, I'm 52. If I'm half as like fit as he is when I'm 60, I'll be more than happy. He's an old gardener, he's an old greenkeeper. He's been like, he's been living his life working with his body outdoors. It's probably something good. I think so. So anyway, there used to be like, we'll see that later, but there used to be greenhouses here. We get occasional snow here. It's a massive snowfall and they kind of collapsed. So, and then they decided to like rebuild the greenhouses at another location. This was just like, kind of like aluminum frame glass, shattered glass wasteland down here. So we just decided to like brush off a few square meters and then to put 2 containers to commence to get something that like the first incarnation of what is now Holy Smoke, which is today I think 43 containers. But it was the fastest way, it was the easiest way, and it was the cheapest way of getting going. This was just a hobby. It was totally a hobby project from the start. So containers were the way to go. So we did put 2 containers here on April 9th on my birthday in 2014. So that's how we ended up here. I probably think that it was with one of the first kids, like staying up late at night, changing diapers or something, watching some late night TV show or something, where they did put this piece of meat in a black box and then they lit fire to it and then they sat there and drank beer and waited for 12 hours and then it looked like shit. It looked all burned. It was all black when it came out, but obviously it was very delicious. So I got the idea that's something that I should try. So I basically went like the next day or the day after that to buy one of those what we call Weber Smoky Mountains. I remember we could fit both kids inside it at the time. So it was either really bigger than I remember, or the kids were really small. But it was. I thought it was really cool, and I got so hooked on that, smoking like baby backs and pulled pork. So, I mean, you couldn't get brisket and short ribs were not. You could not buy that here. This is 12 years ago. It did not exist at all. And I just got bitten by that barbecue bag, or like got completely hooked. So I just like kept on smoking, and the problem was that at the time the kids were really small. They can eat a horse right now each, but at the time they were really small, so there was like really like nowhere to like to get rid of all the meat that I smoke, and that's how that's the whole idea of this, or the beginning of this, that I needed to like get rid of this, and then I contacted some local restaurants. It became this kind of like guerrilla style like production in the backyard down in Höganäs. When that kind of like evolved, like it's just like it got like too big for the backyard. I had to make like a proper setup for this. Maybe get some permits. Heard that can be a good thing. And you clearly couldn't do that in the backyard at home. So that's how we ended up here. What we should know that we're in Sweden, and this is complete blind spot of this of this craft. We were the first. No, we were not the first. There were like probably someone somewhere, but let's say that we were like the first like real deal, or the first like bigger restaurant with some scale to it. So this was completely new. I was like 40 years old, and I saw this on television for the first time in my life. Everybody's been to like, all Swedes has been to the States, but they've been to New York City or to like Florida, and they went to Disneyland, but no one's been to like the rural South and experienced like barbecue. Not no one, but that's the general like concept of like Swedes going to the States. It's like going to Italy and going to Italy and discover like pasta for the first time. Can you imagine that? And that's what basically happened here. We are like, Sweden is the most Americanized, or at least was one of the most Americanized countries in the world. We eat anything out of the US hand without any kind of criticism, and adopt a lot to American culture. And everybody has a barbecue or a grill in the backyard. We're like fanatic about grilling. We have the tradition of like smoking meats, overnight cooks. We have all components, but not these cuts, not these temperatures, not these kind of like smokers either. So it was there for us to just pick up. Hey, here's a piece of like damn fine culture that no one's explored or experienced or like so far. Do you want to take it? Okay, we'll take it. The first like meat crusade that obviously we'd understood so much that we needed to go to Central Texas. That was kind of the deal, that we'd come to that conclusion somehow. This is I think 12 years ago. So it's not at all where it is today. This whole like revitalization, can you say that, about the barbecue, this whole barbecue community thing? It was like pretty early like in that era, but we had this idea that we needed to go to Central Texas. It was mind-blowing. I always like to eat. I've spent a lot of time working front of house in restaurants when I grew up, but I'm a graphics guy. I've been in a completely different industry. I always spent a ton of time on restaurants, but not in the kitchen. So it was very fascinating to see this whole how they were operating. It was the first time in my life I had like a smoked brisket that was 40 years old. It didn't exist there, and that was just like, la hallelujah. The biggest thing really was that when we sat on the plane back to Sweden, reflecting over those, I don't know, 8 days or whatever it was kind of the openness. Everybody talks about their community, the tennis community, the sailing community, the golf community, but the barbecue community, that's where it's at. We were just like completely blown away by the openness, like the open arms. It felt that we shared their secrets with us. That has really been a guiding star here. Today we're probably gonna have it's ramping up now. It's like peak season has begun. It starts midsummer day. We open on Good Friday, which is anywhere from like March 20th till April 20th, basically. And then we're only open from 11 till 5, Saturday and Sundays. But then after midsummer, which is around June 20th, we open up every day from like 11 till 9 o'clock at night. And today we're probably gonna have about, I don't know, 800 people maybe. In 2 weeks from now, there's like between 12 and 1,500 people every day. But the cool thing, or the odd thing, or the fantastic thing is that out of those 800 people who come here today, I'd say that probably like 700 of those have never had this kind of food, which is a pretty great upsell. You can actually like be able to present, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you something that you never. It's like, say again, you might have never seen pasta or pizza. You've never seen pizza. Welcome to Holy Smoke. Yeah. We serve pizza. You've never seen it before. It is on that level, and that is actually really cool. We experience people here every day. It's just like, what just happened? And then I think one of the cool, you'll see that throughout the day. If you were to stand there all day and like register who these people are who come here, you wouldn't have a clue at night, because there will be one of each. Mm-hmm. There's just as many like, you know, wheelchairs as motorbike, as trolleys. It's just like there's like young people, old people. There's one. It's really like for at least here. It's really for everybody.
Yeah.
Not just like bearded men in their 50s. I think that is really cool. It really looks like someone really thought picking this spot. Now when it's all here, it's completely natural, and a really clever way of putting it here. At the beginning, it was all about finding someone who would like let up, who just borrows the land for free, basically, to be able to start this whole thing. But we are located in, I mean, you drive to the middle of nowhere, then you take a right, carry on like for another like 20 minutes, go under the lake, through the woods, past the troll, and then we're that. We're in Brekke, in downtown Brekke. I think there's 4 houses in the crossroad over here. Nowhere to be found. We have 0 drop-ins here. You need to like know where you're going. There is no reason whatsoever to drive on these 2 roads that meet from this crossroad down here. I mean, the area here, Kullahalvön, we're like in the southmost state of Sweden, Skåne. We're about 1.5 hours north of Copenhagen. So we're on the west coast of southern Sweden. The ocean is about, I don't know, 4-minute drive that way.
It's so beautiful.
It's really beautiful. So here's a ton of people here visiting here. This restaurant we found a format here that really works now. I mean, it's a big operation. I think it's bigger than most barbecue restaurants in the States, actually, doing like up to 1,500 people a day. It's not many restaurants that does that. It's more of an operation than a restaurant, I'd say. It's a shit ton of logistics going on here. There's a lot of people traveling here, but we don't have any signs still, because it would create chaos. Like we have more than we can chew. So they are finding this through, I'd say, media. We've been extremely fortunate with media coverage from all different aspects. You're here right now, and it's been like this all along, like since the very early days. It became very early a destination restaurant. The vast majority of the people is absolutely Swedish. We probably developed the event side. We do a lot of I think we have 5 containers that's been built for like catering or for event purpose. So we do most of the really big festivals here. And then we can show up with like 4 containers and build kind of a mini version of what we have here at the restaurant. Then I think the biggest thing for us is we have today, I think 45 different products. Rubs and sauces, of course, as everybody else, but then we have like charcoal production in Ukraine, we do cast iron in the States. There's like a whole range of stuff that's going, which is like a completely different branch, but still where the restaurant here is kind of the backdrop for that concept. So that's what I do. That's where I spend most of the time in those projects. So we're distributed in big parts of the world, actually. You will find all our products. We sell 1 or 2 hats and T-shirts every year. The beautiful work of Millscale, of course. The Yakitori grill and the 94th, they're small offset smokers, and basically all you need for a perfect life, actually. One of the other things that we thought to spread this whole like knowledge about barbecue was to bring people here to teach. I mean, I'm sure that we could, or we do like classes ourselves these days, but at that time we had, I'd say, 0 credibility. So we thought it would be a great idea to try to teach, to get some of the big names from the US here to do a class. And we basically commenced at the top. So we asked Aaron, the guys that published our book, translated his book into Swedish. So there was some kind of small connection to get the conversation going at least, or to be able to send an email and say, hey, maybe wouldn't it be a great idea for you to come to Sweden and teach barbecue? And for some unforeseen reason, he just said, hey, yeah, why not? Let's do it. Can I ship one of my offsets over? So that's how it commenced. He came here with this Braun, that was one of the pit guys at the time, and Daniel Vaughn of Texas Monthly. So we basically commenced on top of the pyramid, and that made people like aware of that this was actually happening. So I think we've had like maybe 20 classes so far. But we have invited then not all, but many of the great names of American barbecue. If I'm gonna start mentioning this, then I will forget someone. But we had like, I think you come back, as stated, like back in the days, we had like Aaron was here. We had good old Myron Mixon was here early on as well, the winningest man in barbecue. Those were fun times. Matt Pittman of Meat Church, a really good friend, has been here quite a few times. We've had Billy Durney here, of course, a couple of times. Pat Martin out of Nashville, Sam Jones, Wayne Mueller, Jess Pryles, of course, Hardcore Carnivore, Leonard Botello, Ernest Servant of the Pope, Charlie McKenna, Kerry Bringle was here last year. I know that I've forgotten someone now, and I must excuse myself. But yeah, Big Mo was here back in the days. Also character. It's a great thing. If you have the chance to like experience this, you should really try to. If you're even remotely interested in this, you should take the opportunity to come and do one of these classes to have a really good time. You get really close up and personal. We work closely with Matt and Caleb and Annie of Midscale. I've been doing that since they commenced, and now we're helping them with their exports and shipping. And this also kind of works as a showroom. Again, travel from Spain to Sweden is 3 hours and I don't know, $100. So it's a good chance. Before you do that, we're talking about big investments. We also work closely with represent J&R in Europe as well. So we sell a lot of these pits, both from Midscale and J&R. These are hefty investments, and it's maybe not something that you would just like look at a web page. Okay, I'll order this $50,000 smoker and then pay another X and Y for shipping it, and then blah 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 blah. So then you can come here. So we actually have a lot of people visiting us to get an idea of how do you operate with these.
Yeah.
So let's say we have people here at least, I mean, in the 6 months the restaurant is open, I'd say monthly, there is someone here from somewhere in Europe that's going to start their own barbecue establishment, and they will come here and we will like actually show them the tricks of how we do it and how we can scale your operation. So we work as I call it almost like a showroom for their products. Copenhagen is my city. I'm really happy to live here I live down in Höganäs, which is, what are we like, 12,000 people? Small. I think it's not a village, but it's a town. it's somewhere between a village and no, but it's a small town. But we have Copenhagen on a bad day 1.5 hours away. So that's really like where we go when we go to the city. When we want to go eat somewhere. I'm probably there at least, maybe not once a week, but at least like three or 4 times a month. So we have a lot of like great relations there in the restaurant and bar scene, and there is like just like so much to explore, so much to eat and drink and just like enjoy. So thanks for putting up with me. I do talk a lot, but I hope we've given you like this like kind of sneak peeks that can lure you into hauling yourself over here. We look forward to welcoming you here.